Samwell Tarly sat on the floor of his study, his chest rapidly rising and lowering. Many times he tried to stand, only to end up sliding back down the wall again. The letter was delivered this morning, of all mornings. House Tarly was set to ride to King's Landing on the morrow. Samwell himself was selected by all the residents of the Reach to the King's newly formed High Council. They would not wait for the King's protocol in the selection process and took the less restrictive path. Sam could hear heavy footsteps approaching his study. Rarely would he be interrupted, but the truth seemed to spread faster than when his father was Lord of Hornhill. His father, his brother, just more Tarly blood spilled by the Dragon Queen. Now, and now his son as well. The footsteps grew louder as Sam pulled himself together and off the floor. 3 knocks on the door as Sam wiped his tears from his face and folded the damp letter once over. "My lord, Lady Tarly is in her chamber," announced the maester. "Very good," announced Samwell in a shaky voice. "Send a raven to Cider Hall," ordered Sam. "To Lord Fossequay?" he asked. "No, to my sister Talia," clarified Sam. "I have other plans for Lord Simon and his men," Samwell finished coldly. "Once I speak with my wife, we'll need to prepare a new will and testament." Samwell paused. "And to the Lord of Winterfell, Brandon Stark, ensure my ward, my son Jon." The maester stopped in his tracks. "My lord," he said aghast. "It is necessary, I'm afraid," claimed Sam as he closed the door of his wife's bedchamber behind him. Gilly simply floated across the room and kissed her husband's salty cheeks. Once withdrawn, she saw the weight behind his eyes.
"What is troubling you?"
she asked with a wide smile that melted from her face. "We should sit," Sam gestured to his wife.
"What news?"
Gilly asked, her face now matching Sam in sternness. "Little Sam. He was named lead ranger at Castle Black," Sam reported.
"But that's good news."
Gilly asked with a slight head tilt. Samwell swallowed hard. His eyes looked up to the torches lit upon the wall. Gilly's eyes urged him to continue. He was given his first ranging mission. Beyond the wall. Jon assigned Little Sam himself. Sam paused. Gilly clasped both of her hands over her mouth as tears welled in the corners of her eyes. Samwell struggled to stay strong. He was killed, north of the wall, Samwell finished, as Gilly removed her hands from her mouth. Her eyes remained glossy, but her emotions were reserved. Sam was impressed at the strength she showed. Sir Jorah recovered his body and returned him to Eastwatch, Samwell finished. A few moments passed in silence. Eventually, Gilly broke them.
"We knew this was always a possibility. He died in his land, where his forefathers walked,"
Gilly exclaimed with exceptional resolve.
"Does our son know?"
asked his wife. "I'm sending word to Bran, not to inform Little John yet. I'll explain everything to him myself," cried Sam.
"You're going to Winterfell? But we ride for King's Landing in the morning."
Gilly exclaimed. "No, you will ride for King's Landing, and sit the High Council in my stead," Samwell explained.
"So, you are delaying your duty to sit the High Council, to go to Winterfell, and retrieve our son?"
Gilly asked. "My sister Talia will come back to Hornhill and oversee the harvest. My banners will head north." Samwell paused, as Gilly attempted to interrupt.
"How far north?"
Gilly demanded. "We'll stop in Winterfell, and continue to Castle Black. There I will confer with the Lord Commander on Daenerys' last known whereabouts," Samwell finished.
"Sir Jon has not ridden Rhaegal in years, ever since."
Gilly's voice trailed off. "The Reach knows all too well the smell of ash left in a dragon's wake," Samwell stirred.
"Why blame Daenerys? It could have been a bear, the cold, or starvation."
Gilly protested. "No, it was a single stab wound through the heart. No evidence of wildling encampments," Samwell explained.
Not all the free folk joined the Mance Raiders' army. Many abstained, and still see the Night's Watch as the enemy. They have no idea what has transcribed the past 15 years.
Gilly passionately attempted to dissuade her husband. "What man would I be if I failed to avenge my father, brother, and now my son?" Samwell was trying to convince Gilly, as well as himself. A few silent moments passed until the maester entered. He hastily prepared himself to take the Lord's letters, to Bran and to Talia. Instead, Samwell insisted on writing those in his own hand. Which banners do you intend on calling, my lord? The maester asked. Samwell Tarly took a long look into the eyes of his dear wife. All of them, Lord Tarly replied, as quills were heard scratching across the parchment. Sam excused himself from his wife and maester and slowly returned to his study. He knew he must personally write to the hand of the king to have his wife vote by proxy and sit on the newly formed High Council. For the first time in years, Sam thought of her heritage. It was rarely thought of, spoken of even less. Sam couldn't believe a person like Tyrion Lannister would judge a person based on undesirable circumstances beyond their control, like bastards, dwarfs, or wildlings. The ink dried slowly as Sam considered his predicament. He had to ensure his heir's safety at Winterfell, and then he would march towards his revenge.